Alrighty, welcome to the fourth episode of my video series where I go through about every relevant Pokemon in PokeMMO Doubles, and now we have Pelipper. So Pelipper is basically the face of rain teams in PokeMMO. It is the only actually Drizzle user, which kind of makes it by default as the face of the rain teams. So now we're gonna basically taking a look at like the rain teams in general and like how to play Pelipper as a part of a rain team. Well, the first question is what makes Pelipper good. Well, like said, it is the only Drizzle user in Pokemon, so it's not like you have any options. If you want to play Rain, you're just gonna use Pelipper. We don't have Drizzle Politoed, so you don't really even have an option where you can choose which to use. You just have to use Pelipper. And yeah, you can't really discuss Pelipper without just talking about rain teams in general. Like Pelipper itself is not like amazing, but like obviously it's gonna be used because just the weather setting ability is just so amazing. But if you still look at the bright side of Pelipper, then it does have tailwind support, which is actually pretty good. Like a lot of times, some tailwind teams on the opposing side, like they try to outspeed rain teams by setting up their tailwind. Then Pelipper can also set up its tailwind, which means you have rain and tailwind. So if they try to outspeed you, they can't. So that's actually a very useful thing that Pelipper learns. And to give Pelipper some credit, it's water plus flying stab coverage is actually pretty good. Like water hits a lot of things very well. One of the main things it doesn't is a grass type, and you have hurricane for that. So that's actually not a bad combination of attacks at all. And yeah, just rain sweepers in general like are very good. So that makes like rain teams one of the most powerful teams in PokeMMO Doubles. Then the question is what challenges Pelipper faces, and the main issue is that it's actually pretty hard to switch it in against other weather setters. So for example, against Tyranitar or Gigalith, it has to take most likely a Rock Slide, which is gonna hurt a lot. So it doesn't want to even do that so much because of its like kind of an awkward typing. And also, if it ever wants to switch in against the Bulbasaur, if it gonna take a Blizzard, it's gonna take a lot of damage, potentially even die in one hit. So it doesn't actually enjoy switching in a lot. So that's a huge problem for both Pelipper and Rain teams in general. And it just doesn't have Pelipper doesn't have like amazing stats compared to other mons. So, but it's not really a relevant point of discussion because Pelipper is used for its ability. And as said, it has a 4 times weakness to electric, which means it's just dead to any electric attack ever. But so if any Pokemon carries like electric type coverage move, then Pelipper has to be constantly a little bit scared of that. But yeah, then to talk about Pelipper, I would split Pelipper into two kinds of. So I would have like the fast Pelipper and then the bulky Pelipper, which are basically two different ways to play. It kind of depends on your play style and also just like what do you use the Pelipper for. First, then to talk about the fast and offensive Pelipper. Fast Pelipper is all about hitting first, hitting hard, and setting up tailwind. So nature is either timid or modest, and then you just have max speed, max special attack, and your moves are basically tailwind, scald, hurricane, protect, and you have focus sash. So basically, focus sash makes up for the lack of bulk, because you can just always leave one attack. So basically, the rest is just to make sure that Pelipper will hit first and hit the hardest as possible. But the alternative to this is a bulky Pelipper, which is also kind of gaining popularity recently. Basically, the point of bulky Pelipper is to be able to switch in as many times as possible, and it's often played bold to basically kind of like slightly counteract like the Rock Slide weakness to allow it to at least take one Rock Slide without that many problems. Its moves are basically the same: Tailwind, Scald, Hurricane, Protect, but it usually carries Eject button, which is to make sure that Pelipper comes in. It gets attacked once. it basically brings in the rain, and then it can immediately switch to like a rain sweeper. Like you don't even want to keep Pelipper in. You want it to immediately to change it for some other rain user. So like a rain sweeper. So for bulky Pelipper, eject button is actually a very useful option. And then I also listed one potential option for a bulky Pelipper is that you can actually have like under 31 speed IV to basically underspeed Tyranitar, which makes sure that it will activate its weather after Tyranitar, which makes you will get a rain, which can be a useful thing because Pelipper is base 65, while Tyranitar is base 61. So if you have like a little bit 4 stats under your max speed, actually 5 stats under your max speed, you can actually underspeed a standard Tyranitar, which you can you can use that to make sure that your weather will go up first, which is it's an idea to have in mind. Then about team synergy, basically it's a rain setter, so you want Swift Swim users. That's about it. King Dreludicolo, Seismitoad, and then you can also have like things that may use of Thunder, such as Jolteon or Manectric, are pretty good support or users of rain in general. And then to talk about counterplay, just counter weather. Tyranitar, Gigalith for Sand, Torkoal for Sun, and Bulmasnow and Vanillix for Hail. Like these are gonna slow down rain teams a lot. Then also just having proper speed control. For example, Trick Room is one of the best ways to kind of counter rain teams, to kind of counteract the great speed from Swift Swim. Like if it's actually Trick Room, they're just gonna attack last. So rain teams are actually very much afraid of Trick Room. Also Tailwind, like if you have Tailwind, especially Whimsicott, like a priority Tailwind user, that can be a very much of a nuisance to rain teams. So you can use that to like kind of outspeed Swift Swimmers without even having like counter weather or Trick Room. But yeah, that's about it. That's Pelipper, also kind of talking about rain in general. Hope it was useful, and I will see you in the next one.